Newsweek does it again. They have once again created a headline and a poorly written piece that has no connection to reality, except perhaps to show us what the opposite of reality is. So in this piece, I'm going to outline for you the realities of the single family home market using actual information. And I will interject here and say that the arrogance with which legacy media fabricates and creates politically motivated hit pieces is truly breathtaking, and they cannot cease to exist quickly enough. We should all be thankful that we have democratization of information today, or we would be beholden to these people. So this headline, complete collapse in demand. And then they go on further to say there's a large spike in inventory. I'm going to start with inventory first because it's quite simple. Here we have a chart. There's a chart accompanying this video showing the 10-year cycle of inventory. Remember what I've said since I founded Analytics Miami 10 years ago, you have to chart the whole cycle. Going back to 10 years, as you can see, there was a lot more single-family home inventory in Miami. In fact, active listings across all price points, the city of Miami, are down 55% versus 2014. That's 10 years ago. Versus pre-COVID 2019, they're down 21%. Now, this article mentions a month in 2021, which was the zenith of the post-COVID craze, and says, oh my God, active listings are up since then. Okay, that was the anomaly. We have to look at the long-term trend. And again, going back to pre-COVID 2019, the most recent normal year, and going back 10 years, there's been a steady decrease in active listings. Now, it is also important to note that while the overall listings have been decreasing, population has been growing. So the state of Florida surpassed 23 million people for the first time this past year. Population of Florida has grown by about 4 million people in the last 10 years, and the population of the city of Miami has grown by about 40,000 people over the last 10 years. So we're growing at about 0.93% a year in the city of Miami. So while population is growing, we have, in the last 10 years, 55% fewer active listings for single family homes. Now, let's address this collapse in demand, shall we? So, digging into the data, as one should when one makes bold statements, we see that sub $500,000 in Miami-Dade County, we have an 87% loss in active listings. It's obliterated. And that, boys and girls, is where most of the transaction volume losses can be found. Looking at transaction volume across price segments starting 500,000 to $1 million, we're at record high sales volume. I don't see an obliteration in demand. Do you? Million and up. Most of the segments, I like to segment from 1 to 2.5, 2.5 to 5, 5 and up. All of these segments are 2x, 3x higher than pre-COVID realities. Do you see an obliteration in demand? Actually, I see quite the opposite. And now when we dig in on a price per square foot basis, which I like to do because that isolates for a new product at prime location, and it is the biggest spike in data. So it reflects the change. And I believe it reflects the appetites of the incoming wealth and talent migration. We have an 850% increase in transaction volume for single family homes, past $2,000 a square foot. That's almost 9x. Okay, where's the obliteration in demand? I don't see it. This article is quoting some ridiculous man with this app called Reventure, whose entire business seems to be based upon creating negative clickbait. And Newsweek, for whatever reason, loves to fabricate gloom and doom articles about Miami. My guess is that the people writing these stories are based in a jurisdiction from which we are poaching taxpayers, and where perhaps our success is perhaps contrary to their belief systems. So once again, everyone, don't believe what you read in the press. They did mention correctly that we're up year over year for pricing. I cannot replicate their numbers, but we are single family home. The article mentions October. The median price. Now the article says typical house. What is a typical house? Why can't they use normal language like median or average like everybody else? But I digress. Median pricing in October in the city of Miami for single family home was $685,000. That's up 9% year over year and up 83% versus October 2019 pre-COVID. So again, we have an extremely healthy single family home market. Oh, and the stat that I mentioned for past 2,000 a square foot being up 850%, that is 77% all cash buyers. So this market has extremely limited supply at lower price points, extremely limited supply actually for prime, anything prime close to the urban core, and heavy cash buying driving the median price up. We have over a 10-year period, overall active listings have decreased 55% while our population has grown. So this is quite the and again, just to recap, record transaction volume, 500,000 to $1 million. Again, the loss in transaction volume is due to the disappearance of inventory below $500,000. And again, all segments $1 million and up are multiples higher than pre-COVID. So the reality is Quite the opposite of what this headline implies. They should once again be ashamed of themselves. And as I'm saying, legacy media, y'all have dug your own grave.